everybody, and happy Monday. This is the Witty Writers Show. So welcome to you. I am Beth Worsdell, author, and I am here with a fantastic guest and friend. It's Candace Robinson. Hello, Candace.
Hey.
Again. I know. I love having you on the show. I absolutely love it. And I've got to say, you've been phenomenally busy since I interviewed you last. Oh my gosh. How many books?
Oh, I don't even know.
So for our viewers that aren't familiar with Candace, you write fantasy, dark fantasy with elements of romance and intrigue and oh my gosh, your books just blow my mind. I've got to tell you. And as some of you know, I've recently been on a little holiday, which I desperately needed because I've just moved house and everything else. And I actually read one of your fantasy books while I was away, and that was Tin. And it was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
I struggled to put it down so I could go and get a drink or something to eat. It was brilliant. But we're here today to celebrate your fantastic new release, which is The Bone Valley, which I am super, super excited to finish. I'm literally, I can't wait. I want to know a bit more about The Bone Valley because a lot of your books are fairy tale retellings, which are absolutely amazing because the concept is just fantastic. So what gave you the inspiration for The Bone Valley?
So I know with most of my books, I do like portal fantasy stuff. So, obviously there's a portal fantasy or portal in here. And I don't know, I guess like I'm a big fan of, Tim Burton and like Guillermo del Toro, like Pan's Labyrinth and all that stuff. And I don't know, I wanted something like that was more adulty, but, still had like the vibes they have. Because, I love doing those dark type of vibes too, but, with romance. So they kind of gave me the inspiration, I guess.
It is just absolutely fantastic. It really is. We've already got people popping up and saying hello. So for those of you who've just joined us, do say hello in the comments. And if you do have any questions for Candace, pop them in the comments and I'll pop them up for you. We got Carla who's joined us. She says, hi, ladies.
Hey, hello, Carla.
Darling, she's phenomenal. And we've also got James. He says, yeah, I'm a pig, but I'll say it, a show with two good-looking girls. Oh, he's a smooth talker. I love it. Oh, and James, just so you know, you are the winner from my last show with Paul Rushworth Brown. So you've actually won a copy of his fantastic book, Skullduggery. So congratulations, James. Well done to you. Carla says, The Bone Valley is awesome stuff. Yay!
Thank you.
I agree. Oh, and Carla's straight in there with a question. Look, she's on the ball this morning. She really is. She says, why do you like writing about portals? Yeah. Do you wish to escape this place? I know I do sometimes.
Exactly that.
She says, will you take me with you? Question mark. Yes. I know how to make cookies. And pies. I've seen lots of pictures of pies. It's making my mouth water. Oh, so interesting. So what sparked your interest with portals and being able to go from one world to the next or one reality to the next?
I don't know. I guess I've always, even when I was younger, I was a fan of it. Like, even like, Labyrinth, like with David Bowie, when she went into that. And then like Alice in Wonderland, of course, Wizard of Oz. Like, I don't know. I've always just like Narnia, just the potential of going into a different world, I guess, than ours.
I think that's brilliant. Do you know what? I think all of us need some sort of escapism.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, for most of us, and especially authors like ourselves, because we're always prolific readers as well as writers, but reading in itself is like going through a portal into a completely different world, isn't it? So I think it's great that not only are you taking people to different places, but you're introducing the portals and different realities as well. It's absolutely fantastic. But I'm with you because, I mean, this is why you and I get on so well, because I loved Labyrinth. I was addicted to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And, you know, that as a child, the thought of going into a closet or a wardrobe and then coming out somewhere else, that was so intriguing to me as a kid. You know, so I think it's fantastic that you've written these fantasy books for young adults and above, so we can continue our passion for that type of fantasy story. You know, it's just brilliant because it's something, when you grow up reading books like that, you always love them, and it's not having an adult version, you know. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed Tin. It was brilliant, with spicy bits, by the way, everybody. It's a bit spicy, which I quite like a bit of spice. James says there's something about portals, maybe just let things get weird. I agree, but your books are so well written, Candace. You know, when you take your characters from one reality or world to another, you do it so well. You know, not just describing what's happened, but how it's affecting them and their wonder and awe and sometimes fear. You write it so beautifully.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, it's amazing. I don't want to make you blush, but you're awesome. Carla says, spicy bits make the world go round. I agree.
Spicy.
I agree. Now, The Bone Valley is about your main protagonist, which is Anton. So tell us a bit about Anton, because he's a very intriguing character, isn't he? Because he's flawed, but yet he's so loyal. So how did you come up with Anton?
Well, I wanted, obviously, you know, because you always see like women prostitutes and stuff in books. So I was like, well, I want it centered around a guy one. And the reason, you know, he does it is to support his family, you know, or his siblings, because, you know, his parents died. So, you know, he does it for them, basically. So.
Do you know what? It's so nice because he's one of those characters where, as I said, he's flawed. You know, he doesn't, not very pleasant job, or he doesn't find it pleasant. He does it, but he doesn't find it that pleasant.
Yeah.
Well, occasionally he's, you know, not too upset about it. But it's a great dynamic for him, you know, because he's like the father figure of all his siblings, and yet he has to deal with all these conniving women who want to use him. What an interesting concept.
Thank you.
It really is. So did you have a specific sort of person you based him off, or was it just was he completely imaginary?
No, they actually, you know, because it's multiple point of view, and so like everyone pretty much, they're imaginary, but there's one, the witch in there, her point of view. So she kind of struggles with anxiety, which I struggle with anxiety. So I put a little bit of me, like, actually into her. So, but everyone else, they just kind of floated in my head, kind of.
That's just fantastic. You have to excuse my golden doodle coughing, by the way. She's like, I don't know if you can hear her in the background. She's having a funny 5 minutes. Carla says, I wish we could have gone a few more descriptive dates with Anton, but alas, we only got a teaser. Ooh. He's quite a character, though, isn't he? And your other character that he obviously connects with is Nahli. Nahli. Oh, I actually got it right for a change.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously they connect. And they've got quite an up and down relationship, haven't they? You know, because she's, you know, not treated him too well in the past and everything else, but then sparks start to fly, and then they have to deal with the Queen of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. I tell you, it's so intriguing. It really, really is. Everybody has to buy it. You really, really do, because the reviews are amazing. Poppy, 4.9 out of 5 on Goodreads. Wow. You must be blown away.
Yeah. I mean, I really loved writing this one, so it means a lot to me. So, but
It should. Oh my gosh, 4.9. I was absolutely blown away. Now, for those of you who, as I said, aren't so familiar with Candace, why not? But all her links are available attached to this interview, so you can go straight to all her author profiles and actually go and buy her books as well. What was the toughest part to write for the Bone Valley? Because obviously you've got quite a few dynamics going on there.
The toughest part to write of it, you said?
Yeah.
I don't know. This one, because some of these, I struggle more with, like, I think sequels. So, like, you know, since this is obviously standalone first one, it wasn't actually too bad. I didn't really struggle too much. Maybe just, you know, because I do have multiple point of view, just making sure, you know, you keep their personality in check, you know, like not, you know, feel like you're using the same personality over and over.
I'll tell you what, that's not an easy thing to do either. I mean, I've never written a story from multiple points of view, but I would imagine you know, you have to really keep on tabs and remind yourself what each personality is like. It's just absolutely amazing. Oh, we got some more comments. Let's have a look. And Candace is, oh, there we go. You froze for a second, but you look beautiful, so don't worry.
Yeah, I know my connection's always doing something.
It's all good. It's all good. Carla says, are you calling yourself a witch, Candace?
Maybe.
She has skills and powers we know not of. Anna's just joined us. Oh, she said, Beth, loving your hair. Why, thank you, darling. If you'd have seen it last week, you might not have been so impressed because it literally went white in the sun.
I love it.
I had to do something. My husband came to the rescue. He went out and got me a dye. Bless him. My husband is so awesome. He came to my rescue. Carla says, did you base the magic of any culture? Now, that is a very good question.
Of any culture? No, I did not. I just made it up.
I'll tell you, your imagination, it blows my mind. It really, really does. It really does blow my mind. And she also asked, how long did it take you to write the story?
Okay. So this one, the first draft stuff, I guess, was maybe a month, I guess. But then, like, this one was actually with an agent for like a year, but it was on submission. And then nothing really happened. And I decided to mainly be indie. So I was like, I didn't want to, so I pulled it and actually went back in and revised it a bit. And then, you know, did it myself, published it myself.
I'll tell you, there's no stopping this lady, everybody. There is no stopping her whatsoever. Because I mean, not only you've got the Fairies of Odd series, which, as I said, fantastic. You got your Wicked Soul series, Cursed Heart series, Cruel Curses series, Letters series, Campfire Fantasy series, and multiple anthologies plus standalones. Wow. Now, when you start writing, are you just in the zone and you just have to get it done?
Yeah, so I think that's anxiety kicking in, especially with like first draft. Like, I'm like, I would love to be able to write a first draft in a day, but I try to do it, you know, pretty quickly, at least just get the bones and everything down, and then I go back and, you know, plump it up.
That's amazing. I'll tell you, it's amazing, isn't it, how your first rough draft can be so different from the final product, because you just go through so many stages and edits and rewrites and everything else. It's just amazing. And I don't know about you, but when I was going back over my work, I always end up thinking, okay, that needs to be a bit more fleshed out, and I need to add this and add that. But each book is so different, isn't it? It's a different process with each one. It's just amazing. Carla says, since you can churn out books like a machine, what does your daily work count look like?
No, so I mean, I guess during the school year, you know, when my daughter's at school, like if I'm writing, it's usually 2K minimum, but I haven't written a lot of solo stuff in a while. So normally what it is like I'm working with Amber, you know, on Wonderland. So I do my first chapter usually that day, and then I send it to her. And then whenever she sends it back, then she'll write hers, and then I'll do it. So sometimes I'm not writing every day at the moment. Sometimes I've been trying to look more into marketing. You know, marketing's hard. So
a full-time job in itself.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Candace actually co-writes a couple of series of books actually with Amber Duell, who's absolutely amazing, and she's on Goodreads and everywhere as well. But you've got such a good working relationship with her, haven't you? Because as you said, you know, you both take turns writing the chapters, and you'll sort of go over each other's work and everything else. What a successful writing companionship you have, because you've done a number of books with her now, and the ratings are just amazing.
Thanks. Well, and then also I've been speaking of Carla asked me to be part of a anthology. So I was thinking of the solo stuff I've written recently. So I did write a short story pretty quickly for her. So it'll be coming out next year.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. And do you know what? And I love the fact that you are so engaged with your readers as well, because you're all over social media. You're nailing the reels on Instagram and TikTok and everything else. And that's a big part of being an author nowadays, isn't it? Is staying connected and using all these new platforms and facilities to your advantage, basically.
Oh yeah. And because I mean, it's like you kind of have to now. Like I would love just to like hide and just write, but I gotta kind of force myself out there, you know. And you know how it is, even like with like TikTok and Reels, some of that stuff can be pretty time consuming to do, but yeah. It's, you know, it's also a good way to at least show yourself, I guess, your personality and your books and what you're reading or whatever, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still sort of navigating it all, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously doing the interviews, but actually doing TikTok videos and everything else is a whole different ball game, because you're trying to sort of intrigue people with your books.
Yeah.
Giving a hard sell, which is super hard.
I know, because I hate being spammy. Like, you know, like it's hard to sometimes try to
balance
with those videos.
It is. Some of these authors are so successful with it. It blows my mind how they find their niche. It's absolutely amazing. We've got some more comments. Denise has just joined us. Hi, Denise. She says, taking a break from my day job, wanted to say hey to everyone. Happy spooky season. Oh, thank you, darling. She's so fabulous. And Carla says, yes, she did, and I love it. She is also a relentless cheerleader. I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Your relationship with Amber, as I said, has been absolutely fantastic. The books that you've been producing. If you could pick one author to co-write with as a one-off or whatever, who would you pick?
Oh, that's hard. Okay, so I'd probably do Carrie Maniscalco or A.G. Howard, just because they both, you know, write dark fantasy with romance type stuff. So I'd have to pick one of them.
Oh, fantastic. I got to be honest, I would love to write something, although I've never done horror. One of my favorite authors is Stephen King. I've been a fan of his book since I was young.
That'd be fun.
Since I was young. And so, yeah, I quite fancy that. But you never know. You never know. Leslie's just joined us. She says, I'm at work, can watch.
Hey, Leslie.
Oh, Candace. Oh, she is so lovely. She is so lovely. So, I mean, you're super busy all the time, and which is absolutely amazing. Oh, you know, the Bone Valley is just released, phenomenal reviews and everything else. But you've also just finished another book in the Oz series as well, which is TikTok.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I tell you, you must be so thrilled with how every book has been received, the ratings and the comments and feedback from readers must be so humbling. Because I think we're always surprised, aren't we?
Yeah.
Whenever we get a great review, it's like, oh, you're always like taken back by it. Do you get many people sending you requests? Because obviously there is a big fan base for fairy tale retellings. Do you get messages asking you to write a specific retelling?
No, I haven't. But I mean, I have had a couple people ask if we were going to write more in the Fairies of Oz series. I'm like, no. It was originally going to be one. And then I was like, well, let's do a short story prequel to, maybe for the villains, just to kind of, draw people in. And then I was like, no, we got to write Crow. and then I was like, no, we got to do Ozma. And then I was like, do you want to do one more? Since we introduced TikTok and have Dorothy's daughter. And Amber was like, yeah. So I was like, okay. But this will be the last one. But this is long for me because I normally do standalones and duologies. So
yeah, it's been an amazing journey. It really has. I mean, you and Amber must be absolutely thrilled. Emily's just joined us. Hello, Emily. She says, who was your favorite character to write from Fairies of Oz? Oh, that was a good question.
Hey, Emily. She's awesome too. Actually, Riva was my favorite from Crow, just because I like her attitude. So she was the funnest, I think, for me to write. But I love them all, which, I say about all my characters anyway. So
yeah, Riva's a bit of a boss lady, isn't she? She doesn't take no crap from no one.
Yeah.
I seriously like that. I really, really do. It's amazing how, as I said, you've brought these characters to life again, because I grew up watching The Wizard of Oz as a child. It was every Christmas it was on the TV, and I absolutely loved it. And you've turned these characters into fae, in a completely fae world with all these different types of fairies and everything. Your imagination blows my mind, because especially your descriptiveness. As I'm reading your books, I can picture them in my head and just see them. It just, I would love for these to be made into movies. I really, really would, because they would just be phenomenal.
Thanks.
Who's your favorite baddie? Because you've got a number of really bad characters. I mean, Lion turned out to be an absolute arse, didn't he? I mean, what a he was. But who was your favorite baddie character? Who was your favorite?
Well, it had to be Langwedier, just because I liked that she, collected heads. And of course, I mean, it's still weird, I feel like, because when we went back to look at these Wizard of Oz books, I'm like, these are really actually pretty, because I had never actually read them. I had always watched Return to Oz and Wizard of Oz, but I was like, man, these are pretty dark, dark stories. Lady collects heads, and I'm like, man, that's awesome though.
Do you know what? You're right, because I did read the books. But at the time when I was young, I didn't quite grasp how cruel she was. Because I mean, you're right. I mean, it's quite barbaric taking people's heads. But it was very well written for that audience back then. It wasn't sort of like graphic. But I love the fact that you've brought these villains into today's society, and the verbiage and everything. It's just so fitting. It really, really is. Carla's got a comment. She says, I think Candace would do well with a series because she writes interesting worlds. It would be nice to spend some time in them and dig deep into their underbellies. Ooh, but alas, she doesn't like that, and that's okay. Oh, she understands you so well. She really, really does. She says, I still recommend the series Emerald City. It is such a shame they cancelled it. It shows some gritty aspects of Oz.
Is it a TV show? I don't think I've seen that one.
I think
The
it
TV
was.
show?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't remember actually watching it myself, but I think there's definitely, you know, a huge market out there for fantasy and dark fantasy, especially with the elements of romance and, you know, the relationship aspects. Carla says yes, it is a TV show.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, but it is a shame, isn't it, when they bring something in and it just disappears into the night.
Yeah.
Okay, I was waiting for the next series and it's gone. It's not happening. It's crazy. Out of all your books, because you've written, you know, many standalone books as well, you know, you got Lyrics and Curses, etc. Which has been the most fun for you to write?
Okay. So I know the Bone Valley Merciless Stars hasn't came out yet, but Merciless Stars, like the Bone Valley was my favorite, but that was like Merciless Stars is my favorite. So that one I think is my absolute favorite. But I had the most fun besides Fairies of Oz, because Fairies of Oz was a lot of fun to write. Was Lyrics and Curses duology, because you know I'm a big fan of the '80s, so I didn't stress with that one. I was just like, yeah, this is awesome.
Oh, you just enjoyed the process.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I loved the 80s. I really did. It was just the music, the clothes, everything. The 80s was fantastic, I've got to tell you.
So I'm waiting for Stranger Things season 4 to come back. It's like they're taking forever with that one. I don't know if you've watched it, but it's so good.
My problem is that once I get into a series, like a show, I get hooked. I'm addicted, and then I can't leave it alone. So I don't get into new series because I know I'll get nothing else done.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have the same problem when I'm writing as well. It's one of those things. What can you do? What can you do? So you've got all these new plans for more books to come out, which is absolutely phenomenal. Do you plan on writing any other genres, or are you just strictly passionate about the fantasy side?
So I think so far I'm going to stay with fantasy. I've written, 3 contemporary, YA contemporary. But if I ever did contemporary again, it'd probably be adult, just because I feel like, I don't know, it's easier to sell those. But I really like YA contemporary better, only because I like the idea of, like when you're younger, meeting, falling in love for the first time, like all that. So I even prefer reading YA contemporary over like the adult contemporary, just because, takes you back to those times
when we were all sweet and innocent.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? What amazed me and impressed me was the amount of age range of your readers, because a lot of adults are reading your young adult fiction as well, and it's purely because it's so well written. And I think when stories are so well written, it doesn't matter the age, because everyone gets to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's been absolutely fantastic. It really, really has. But it doesn't. What I am intrigued to know is, what is the weirdest thing you've ever had to research for your books? Because you have so many different types of elements and characters. It blows my mind. I think, oh God, what's actually come up with that or found that out?
I'm trying to think. I know for because I'm re-releasing actually the Wicked Souls duology as adult or whatever, but even as YA, when I was YA, I have what's his face, Jack the Ripper, so I had to Google like the murders and stuff like that and all that, and it so that's kind of interesting, and
Grizzly.
Yeah. And then, well, recently, for the anthology with Carla, I had to, because I had the 7 deadly sins in my story. So I was, Googling all those and what I could do for those. So those are off the top of my head. I know I've done some weirder stuff. I'd have to think about it. But it can get pretty weird, because even whenever I think I had my friend Beta read one of my stories, and she was, I don't want to give away, but anyway, so he has to cut out his eye. So she was like, she's like, I don't know if somebody could actually live after that. So she Googled, and she's like, okay, you can. So
do you love it when you beta readers like really take an interest and ask things like that? That's just absolutely fantastic. Oh yeah, you can dig your own eye out. Okay.
yeah, you can live. You'll still live.
Oh my god, I bet Jack the Ripper was interesting as well. I tell you, it's amazing, isn't it, what we have to research for our books? But the amount of research and everything that you do really does show in your writing, which is another reason why your ratings are so amazing. Do you happen to have a copy of the Bone Valley that we can have a look at?
Let me see. Oh, sorry. It's like literally behind me. So
you are so awesome. This book cover is just so beautiful.
I can see it, but
look at that.
Sorry, I know my lighting's always awful in here too, but
that is gorgeous. That is absolutely gorgeous. So what inspired you for the book cover? I mean, it's so good.
Well, so originally, I don't know, I wanted something different. I know, like, I could have done, everyone seems to be doing like a sword or something like that. Because first I was thinking like a bone sword, and I was like, no, or a bone flower on the front. But then I was like, I have this, skeleton actually that's on my bookshelf, and she kind of inspired part in the story. So I was like, well, I'd like to have probably the skeleton, but I didn't want skull face on there because I feel like everybody else trendy right now too is like the skulls. I just wanted something different, but don't know if that helps, because I know a lot of people like seeing trendier stuff, but I try to at least go out of the box sometimes.
I think it's absolutely stunning, and Jenna does your covers, doesn't she?
Yeah, she did this one. She also did lyrics and curses.
She is absolutely fun. I mean, what an artist. I mean, it absolutely blows my mind. I was hooked on the cover as soon as I saw it. It's beautiful. Carla says, I still vote for a prequel to The Glass Vault. I said what I said.
Carla would have me write like a 10 series book and still be like, we need more. We need 20.
That's just amazing. Now, you have a beautiful young daughter who's just as beautiful and smart as you are. What does she make of all these books that you're publishing? She must be blown away.
Yeah, I don't know. She just kind of like, all right, well, I think she really would like me to write a middle grade, and I'm like, I can't do middle grade. I'm too dark, and I like the romance. I'm like, I can't do. I'm like, you can write middle grade. I'll help you write middle grade.
Oh. Does she have aspirations to do any writing?
So she likes to write. She writes actually really well because she had turned in a story, but I think because it's a long process. I think she gets tired of it pretty easily. So after a couple of days, she'd probably be like, "No, let's move on."
Yeah, it's tough at that age, though, isn't it? Because you're passionate for such a short period, unless it's something that you're really, really, really hooked on. Let's have a look. Oh, Carla says, you are absolutely right. I need more. LOL. Oh my God, she cracks me up. And now the Bone Valley is available right now. It is released. So good. It's so good. And it's available on multiple platforms as well, isn't it? So it is available out there. Are you looking at possibly doing an audiobook version?
So there will be an audio book. I'm not sure if it will. She hasn't started recording it yet because she's doing actually our Vampires in Wonderland prequel, and then she's going into the Bone Valley. So it should be maybe December or January, probably January. It should be, hopefully.
How exciting! I'm truly thrilled for you. I really am, because audiobooks are so big now, aren't they? You know, it's a case of, you know, you've got to do it on all formats. My mum has just joined us from the UK. She says, hi from the UK, ladies.
Hey.
Hello, Mum. Love you. My biggest fan. I love her to bits. So what's your plans now then? Because obviously you've got new releases coming out and everything. Have you got another project on the go right now?
So right now I just have, you know, because I'm usually ahead, so I finished pretty early. So I have, you know, Merciless Stars is already ready. My short story with Carl is ready, and then I actually have in December I have a novella with Elle Beaumont, which I think you're going to be talking to her soon with Cogs.
Yeah.
So we're actually doing a an adult like romancy deal, but it's going to be kind of like Krampus inspired. So, you know, but of course, you know, hot Krampus. So they're not monstrous, but
hashtag spicy books. Do you know what? I've got to say, I love that hashtag spicy books. It just sums up everything, really, doesn't it? I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Now, obviously, we've got Halloween coming up. So, I mean, it's been the perfect time for you to release the Bone Valley because obviously, you know, subject matter and everything else. You know, you've got the queen, the queen of the dead and everything in your book. You must be in your element promoting that with Halloween coming up because you do quite like Halloween, don't you?
Oh, Halloween's my favorite. I wish it was year round. Yeah, I do keep some of my stuff out year round. So
I love it. I love it. Love it. So will you be dressing up for Halloween?
So I'm probably not. I usually not, but I get excited about helping my daughter with her costumes. I don't know if you've seen her costumes every year, but I know I posted one recently of all her costumes. Like she's done like Coraline, the Bride of Frankenstein, like all the cool Beetlejuice. She's done some pretty cool.
I think I might have seen the Beetlejuice one.
Yeah, she's done Harry Potter, and she was a mime one year, which also helped inspire that one short story I did for Link by Link with Carla as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love Halloween. I must admit, when the kids were younger, we used to all dress up because we lived on a really close-knit little neighborhood. And we all sort of got houses around the same time on this new neighborhood. So all of us used to dress up, your parents and kids, and it was fantastic fun. You know, the kids thought it was great, you know, all as adults dressing up as well. And we used to go around trick-or-treating, and we used to make pumpkin soup and do hot dogs and stuff. It was just magical time of year.
Speaking of that, I do have a question. This is totally off subject that you might know because my daughter actually asked me this on the way to school because I showed her like old costumes way back. You know how they were like real creepy and scary. And she's like, when did people start actually not being like scary like with the costumes? I'm like, I don't know. Do you know? Because I know even in the 80s there was like Barbies and stuff. I'm like, you know, because she's like, it used to be to scare away the spirits. Now everybody's, you know.
Do you know what? I would probably say it probably turned, and I would imagine like the 40s or 50s when marketing became a thing. But you know, when people were able to, you know, sell newspapers, literally not just in their own town or city, but across state lines and everything. I would imagine, you know, with the railway lines enabling connection everywhere, media just took off, and then obviously happiness sells.
Oh yeah,
happiness and fun sells more than anything else. So I would imagine that probably turned, because when you think about it, that was probably about the time when Coca-Cola started doing, you know, using Santa Claus in their advertisements and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So you think about it, it was all around about the sort of late 1940s and 1950s, wasn't it, when it all turned? Yeah. But that is so intriguing. I might have to. She's got me thinking now. I might have to Google that later.
Yeah, she always asks me questions. I'm like, I don't know. I've never even thought about that before, and I was like, I don't know.
But that's super interesting because obviously, you know, in the early 1900s and everything, people would literally, as you said, scare off the spirits because they were so superstitious.
Yeah.
You know, still getting over the witching trials and stuff. they would really go all out to make themselves look horrific.
Yeah, they had some creepy looking pumpkin ones I saw, because I googled, I was like, old Halloween costumes and before, because I showed her them and I was like, oh, look at it.
Yeah, they were freaky. But then obviously everything turned to commercial, like everything else does.
Yep.
And with the invention of cartoons as well, that probably turned the tide as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, people wanted to be their favorite cartoon character instead of, you know, some creepy, scary thing. Interesting. That is so interesting. Let's have it. Oh, Carla says her daughter is adorable. I would agree with that. Robin has joined us. Hi, Robin. She's like, yes. And Carla says, Between the Quiet was my favorite short story by Candace. Oh, I think she's your biggest fan. Well, between us, because I'm a big fan as well, I have to say. I was going to ask you something else, and then it completely went out of my mind. It's gone. This is why my husband calls me Dory, because it literally goes in. And
same. I get that all the time.
And straight out. But can we have another look at your beautiful, beautiful book cover? Because it is so stunning. Look at that. And for those of you who have only recently joined us, because I know a lot of people are supposed to be working. So just to give us another quick rundown of the Bone Valley. So your character, Anton, is a male prostitute, basically sleeping with women who can afford it for silver coin, to support his family. But then something happens to him, doesn't it? Tell us a little, without giving too much away.
Well, I'll just say, he has to go. He enters a new world, but I'm not gonna say how or what, but he does, and so does Nahli. And Nahli's left. She escaped her home before, and she's been a thief basically, stealing to try to get her way back home, even though her home life was terrible. But some stuff happened here too, and it was awful. And then she has nobody, and nobody wants to hire her, and so her only option, she feels, is to steal. So, I like morally gray. So,
and get back to what sometimes it's better the devil you know. Interesting. And then of course they have to deal with the Queen of the Dead. Now, what an interesting character, the Queen of the Dead. Did you have anything in mind? Or, I mean, is she just completely from your imagination, or did something spark you?
Yeah, because I know I've written, obviously, morally gray people, or they do bad stuff, and but you feel for them too. Or I've written villains that can be redeemed, but I just wanted somebody this time that was just pure. There's no redeeming her. She's just not a good person.
Interesting. Now I've got to tell you, your characters are so well written. They really, really are. And as I said, you're very descriptive. So it's great for me because I can picture them. Now, out of all of your characters, if you could dress up as one of them this Halloween, who would you pick?
Oh man, that's a toughie. Okay. Somebody from Fairies of Oz, probably. I'd have to think which. Maybe Langwidere, just so I can have like some fake removable head.
Yeah, but which head would you pick for her?
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. Because she's taken an awful lot.
Yeah.
I've got to say, when I was reading it, because obviously she takes Glinda's head. And that's an interesting concept, because I was picturing it all in my head as I was reading. And, I'm picturing Glinda as I remember her from the movies. And then when she started to turn and Langwidere slipping and letting her character out, I'm like, ooh, that's intriguing. It was actually really, really nice having that dynamic where she looks like a goodie, but her badness is slipping out. That was really well written.
Oh, thanks.
I love that. And but the way you describe that her being able to change the head and the silver disc and everything was just, that was the coolest thing ever. It was just awesome. It really, really was. So you just never stop, lady. I'm just so blown away by you. I really, really am. It's just absolutely phenomenal. That you've got fantastic book series, you've got standalones and anthologies. I love the fact that you're always so open to new opportunities as an author. It's do you think twice when you get offered, to be part of an anthology or something, or is your first instinct to just, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go for it?
I usually think about, I know there's a lot of authors, they like to stay on brand, but I like to, I don't know, mix stuff up too, but I like to still have like the same theme. Like I pretty much, even if I write let's say horror, I still have some type of romance in there. I feel like I always have to have romance.
Yeah.
So, but I like to, try different stuff. I mean, like the Link by Link story obviously is a lot different than the new one with Carla, because that one's old wives' tale, and it's kind of horror-y, but they both have romance. So even though they're different,
I think it's fantastic. I think it's great when you have characters who have that romantic dynamic going on, because it can add so much depth to a story, can't it? Because all of a sudden, when something bad happens, straight away there's some sort of conflict. And let's face it, we all love a bit of conflict, or reading about it anyway.
Oh yeah.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. Candace, you are absolutely amazing. You always absolutely blow my mind. You really do. And I can't wait to see literally your career just explode, because your fan base is amazing. Your reviews are fantastic. And the Bone Valley, if you haven't ordered it yet, everybody, please do, because it is phenomenal. 4.9 out of 5 on Goodreads, which is absolutely amazing. But I can't wait to see what you come up with next. It's phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining me today, Candace, because you are just I've just been told to hold on. Carla says, oh, hold on, I almost forgot about the Imitation Game. That one needs to be a full-length book. I wonder if she's got her whip in her hand ready for you, Candace.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Oh my gosh, you can't get better recommendation than that, can you? You are so awesome, Candace. Thank you so much for joining me today, darling. It's just been an absolute pleasure. It really, really has. For those of you who have joined us, thank you for tuning in to the Witty Writers Show. We have been live on Facebook and on YouTube as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. If you didn't manage to catch us live, do not worry. This interview is up everywhere and will be shared on Instagram and Goodreads and everywhere else. Plus, it will be on the Witty Writers Show podcast as well. So you can tune in and listen to this interview via Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the other big ones as well. But thank you so much for joining us. Please go ahead and order Candace's new fabulous book, The Bone Valley. You will not regret it. All her links are available for you to click on, and please follow Candace everywhere. And just a reminder, when you do read Candace's books, please leave a review, because they all help.
Yeah.
They really, really do. Candace, thank you so much for joining me, darling. I hope you'll come back on the show again. I am super excited to ring the rest of your Berries of Oz series and the Bone Valley. Wow. So I will be putting all my reviews on, because I've been reading a lot this last week on vacation. And Candace would love your feedback. So please let her know what you think of your books. Leave a review on Goodreads, Amazon, or all the other platforms that she has available for you to purchase on. So we will see you for the next Witty Writers Show. Until then, Bye for now, everybody. Bye.